The Oscars. The reason we have award season. The reason we have red carpets full of attention-seeking celebrities who want more recognition even though they should have gotten enough at their film's premieres. And through praise from critics and through the millions of dollars they made.
They started off as a 15-minute radio show in 1929. 15 statuettes, or Oscars as they later became known, were given out at that ceremony. And the first ever winner was actor Emil Jannings for Best Actor. He is also the only German actor to ever receive that award.
Now they're over 3 hours long. The Academy Awards honors movies most of us haven't even heard of, or will never even watch. But they're the best of the best. So thankfully, Suicide Squad didn't have a chance. Oh, wait. I guess it did.
For the 89th Oscars, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, any movie released from midnight on January 1st, 2016 to December 31st, 2016 was eligible for nomination in any of the 24 categories.
How does the nomination process work exactly?
So similar to the Grammys, there's 6,000 voting members today. So over the yes, alive.
Okay.
And these are, actors, writers, producers, directors, technicians, most of them actors. And they're allowed to vote only within their categories. So actors only vote for actors, so the actor categories.
Oh wow, okay, that makes a big difference. Okay,
yeah. Well, this is just for the nomination process. Mm-hmm. So once the movie is nominated, then any of the people in the committee is allowed to vote for any of the categories. Huh. And there are some minor tweaks to certain categories. There's some different rules, but for the most part, this is set.
Okay, and then the voting process. What happens next is anyone can vote for any of the categories after they're nominated, and the most votes win.
Yeah.
So then this is all 6,000 voting members voting for best sound design. And
yeah. Yes.
Okay. So at least they sussed out or they parsed out who were considered like the greats. So then even if the people that I felt didn't win, then the people who actually know what they're talking about, they nominated the people that should win.
Yes. So hopefully there's a little bit,
Sounds a little fair. Like a little more fair than I thought. I thought it was just a bunch of old people, old men going, "Oh, I've heard of Zootopia,"
It's a Disney movie and whatever. No, yeah, it's a little bit more fleshed out. And every year they add new members. Some members leave, and it's
some leave by choice, others leave by nature's design.
Yeah, nobody knows. So they just leave. But this year, we had one movie that received a lot of nominations.
Yeah.
La La Land.
Which is this movie season's Adele, just saying.
14 nominations. So La La Land was a big winner, and it won in 6 different categories. So it won for production design, cinematography, original song, original score, Best Director, and Best Actress for Emma Stone. Which, I love Emma Stone. She's one of my favorite actresses, and I think that she deserved it. Overall, La La Land was an okay movie.
Yeah.
I believe. There were things that I liked about it. It was a very vibrant movie. It was very, the cinematography was really really
that's
good.
actually one of the ones that when it won it, I was like, you deserve this. This is one of the few times that I am okay with someone getting so many accolades, because it was really well designed. The shot planning, and it was really good.
Yeah, the angles and everything. Yeah, I even liked. I loved Emma Stone in this movie. She was
too skinny, but she was still, like, I don't know what happened. Her face is so sallow now. I was like, someone give her a sandwich. The whole movie, I was like, please, please feed her. Well,
she was a starving actress, so
true.
So maybe she lost weight for the part.
Playing it, a little too seriously.
If we're looking just at specific categories, overall, La La Land deserved a couple of these. Was it the best movie that I saw in 2016? No.
I kind of agree with you. I haven't finished the movie, but I have watched the majority of it, and they're all things that stand out. I really do like the costume, the choices, the bright colors, the vibrancy. The music is really playful. Some of it's kind of dull, in my opinion. Like, it's not very memorable. I don't remember any of the songs, actually. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that Disney does very well is they make a song that will stand out. Even though I only watched Moana once, I actually knew most of the lyrics to the song. Yeah. I was like, I get it. But
and we have to talk about Auli'i Cravalho, who performed.
Yeah. Okay, I did not know that she actually did the voice and she did the singing voice, because I do know that sometimes they don't actually do both, right?
Yeah. So there's certain animated features they do. Someone does the voice and then someone does the singing.
Yeah.
But Moana, everybody who was cast did their own singing.
That's pretty impressive already. Yeah. And I do like the casting decision. She looked like Moana. I didn't know that they basically just made Moana. Yeah. You know, she looked like her. So then to see her perform, it was literally just like I was watching a like stage show and they just got a perfect casting of a person who looks like Moana. And she sang like pretty amazingly for someone who doesn't, I don't know if she has a lot of experience, but from my understanding, she's not a performer. She's not a famous singer that's
No, I think Moana is her very first movie. She was picked out of a crowd of a couple thousand.
She was like one of the last
girls.
entrants too. I remember this. She's like one of the last people to enter. She wasn't even gonna do it. She just did it on a whim.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, to see like her, like to see someone who came from nowhere and like almost literally, she really, really did a good job. Yeah. And she did
not pull an Adele Dazeem and show, because when Idina Menzel performed, I think when she performed Let It Go, she sounded nervous.
Yeah.
And that was surprising to me because
she has
so much experience. She was Elphaba in the original run of Wicked. So I was like, why are you... I mean, it had been a while since she performed live. Mm-hmm. So I can see that. But she was Elphaba.
Yeah.
I mean, Auli'i Cravalho maintained her composure throughout.
She didn't even I don't think she even walked, right? She kind of just
stood there.
But it was so powerful. She didn't need those backup dancers actually.
Yeah.
Because
and she did get hit with the little flag, but she kept going.
Yeah, and she did it so fearlessly. Like, it was very seamless. It was professional, but it didn't seem fake. It was very genuine, and I thought that even though she probably didn't write the lyrics, I don't think she did, right?
No.
You could tell that she actually felt the lyrics, and
I felt the lyrics.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that like you don't really get too often with singers. So then that performance was probably the stand-up performance for me for the show.
Yeah.
I did like the Justin Timberlake's opening. I kind of wish that Anna Kendrick was there too, because she's
Trolls.
Which
is another. I like Trolls. I thought Trolls took a lot of cues from a lot of Disney movies.
It was definitely one of those things where it was definitely a kids movie, but they adapted it enough so then adults can watch it and enjoy the whole movie, which doesn't happen very successfully most of the time. So I think they did a pretty good job of balance. Just need to actually go with deeper themes next time, I think. Actually, let's talk about the host. So the host this time around was Jimmy Kimmel.
Yes.
What did you think about his hosting?
I think the host for the Oscars always faces a big challenge because you have a 3-hour show of pretty much nothing going on. The Grammys is different because you have like a bunch of performances, but at the Oscars it's always like 5 performances max and then like 24 awards that you're giving out. So the host has a really tough job of just keeping us entertained. I think Jimmy Kimmel did his best. I think he did okay in some parts, and I think he faltered in a bunch of other parts. More than just the show in general being boring, I think that he was what put me to sleep the first time around. Yeah, I don't know. I think Ellen has been my favorite host.
She was a pretty good host. I actually don't find Ellen funny, but her version of the Oscars was actually entertaining. My issue with Jimmy Kimmel's Oscars was that it was basically one of his shows, but stretched out for 3 hours.
Yeah,
he had the candy falling thing. He did something where he brought some like, I guess he pranked some people, so then they came in.
When he brought them into the Oscars, I actually thought that was pretty cool. I wish I was on that tour bus.
It was cool, but I was like, this is a Jimmy Kimmel thing. This is something that he would do.
Yeah,
and it was cool, but then you could tell that at the same time, not all the people who were there at the Oscars were interested in it, because one of the things I want to like.
Well, if I was wearing a $5,000 Givenchy gown, I would probably not want to hug a sweaty, Angelino taking a tour. Yeah, because those gowns are expensive.
And then they have to talk about them too. But it was just kind of like, it was cool, but I guess it would have been better if the people sitting in the audience had a little bit of foresight, knowing, hey, these people are gonna come. they're completely just not Oscar friendly. So if you don't want to be touched, basically put up those boundaries. But then you have some people who are just nice, like
Denzel Washington.
But you could tell, okay,
Yeah.
he was being very nice, but you could tell he was kind of like, for reals, I have to do this, but I'm nice, so I'm going to, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
You know? It was written on his face, but he was such a good sport about it, and I think that was like one of the parts that I was like, this is cool, but it's really not cool for the attendance at the Oscars. I thought it was kind of like really difficult for them. The candy worked the first time.
It wasn't.
I was amused by it, and I was like, that's actually cool, because you could tell they're just bored. They've been here for an hour and a half. Give them candy. Like,
cool. So some of them were like, some of the actors were actually
excited
like, about the candy.
Viola Davis, you just like, I felt like they kept showing her because she was like, I'm like, you can afford some candy, girl.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe she doesn't allow herself to eat candy because she has to, fit into that nice gown.
Yeah.
But speaking of Viola Davis,
that's how you say her name. Oops.
She won Best Supporting Actress, which
she did.
I mean, well deserved.
Yeah.
For Fences, which is one of my favorite plays. They turned it into a movie. I mean, it doesn't really translate well into a movie, I think.
I thought so too, actually.
But I think that Viola Davis deserved it. I like Viola Davis. I liked her in The Help, which I think she should have won for that. I like her show, How to Get Away with Murder.
She is, okay, I knew that was her. Okay, good. I don't want to be that guy that was racist and like, hey.
And I really, I really like her in a lot of movies. I mean, she was one of the best parts of Suicide Squad.
Yes, she actually was. She held down Suicide Squad.
That scene with the heart and the stabbing, it's... If you have to watch any one part of Suicide Squad, watch that part.
Yeah. And I like you said, I really think she deserved it. I watched Fences, and it was one of those movies where I just watched it because I was like, oh, Denzel Washington, I know that guy. And then as the movie started, like, I want to say 30 minutes into the movie where there's a long exposition with his youngest son, and he's kind of talking about, the son says, why don't you like me? And then that's actually the scene that they show in the movie, in the Oscars.
Yeah.
I was like, this actually looks like it would be a really good play. It doesn't really, and then I looked it up and I'm like, oh, it was a play. So what's good about adapting like a play is that a lot of times the characters are so integral that they're the play.
Yeah.
So this really worked for me because I love like exploring different kinds of characters, especially someone as interesting as the protagonist in Fences.
Yeah. So, and then her speech. What did you think about her speech? I thought it was a really great speech.
It seemed like she had written it, but
yeah, she memorized it. She practiced it.
I love that she was so emotional because but it's kind of like when you're driving and you're like, you hear a contest and then you hear the winner, and instead of going like, wow, you're just like, oh, cool, I can't wait, and then that's it.
Yeah, you
kind of want like a amazed reaction. These are like limited edition. There's only 24 given out each year.
Yeah.
Like, you are the best of your field. Like, you need to like cry. And Viola Davis,
cry right now.
She gave me the performance I wanted. Both in Fences.
That's why she won Best Supporting Actress.
What did you think?
I liked her speech. Just the things that she said.
Yeah.
I was moved. I usually don't get emotional over speeches, and I know that it was kind of a surprise to her. Maybe.
I think it was. Yeah. Too. She seemed a little...
She wasn't expecting it, and so that feeling of surprise and thankfulness. I think she was just more thankful than anything. She's being given this award by her fellow actors, by her, the people in the industry with her.
Yeah.
And she was really appreciative of that, I think.
Yeah, and knowing how the nomination process works and all that is huge. That's all of your friends, are like just your peers saying, you are better than us this year. You did the best work. So I think her reaction and her speech was probably what I would expect from someone who's that grateful. And it really did speak a lot about her character. It said that she's genuinely an artist, which is what I think actors are in general. Is they're usually artists. Some people are just there for money, but Viola Davis is apparently a hardcore artist, and she really does care about her craft. And that's why she was probably my favorite of all the speeches and of all the acceptances of any kind of thing involving the Oscars this year.
And since the most sought after award is the award for Best Picture,
Most scandalous.
arguably the most important award of every Oscars. You know, this is
It definitely is.
yeah. This is the one that outshone them all.
Yeah. It's a culmination of all the things. So there's 24 categories. This movie eclipses many of the other categories. So you're saying that this movie has some of the best production design, some of the best costume design, some of the best cinematography and writing and all those things. So it really is kind of like the golden goose.
And this year, La La Land was wrongfully announced the winner.
It was so embarrassing.
It was,
the tension.
The actual winner was Moonlight. I liked the themes. I liked, you know, the pacing of it. It was an Amazon movie, and this makes it the first streaming-based movie to win an Oscar.
Which is pretty impressive.
That's very impressive.
It winning an award, or winning this award, kind of is like a monumental moment in cinema history, I felt, because
it deals with addiction.
Yeah.
It deals with, you know, a lot of these issues that are kind of taboo in our society, and maybe that's what drew so many people to vote for it.
Yeah, I think that, and that's why I was like, wow, they're highlighting a movie that it's controversial in my opinion. I don't even know if it got any backlash, because it definitely has a lot of those elements that don't get discussed, or if they do, they're not they don't get talked about on a regular basis or shown very often.
Yeah, it had plot development. It had, you know, all these different elements that make a great movie, or a great Oscar movie.
Yeah, and I think the one movie that I could draw the most parallels to is it really felt like, it reminded me of Precious. Where it touched on all these things that were kind of off, you know, like people like off the radar, things that we don't talk about, and the way that they delivered the message and the approach to the narrative was a little interesting. But yeah, that was weird. That whole wrongfully announced thing. Okay, when I was watching it, I was really confused. So then, like, even just in their faces when when Warren Beatty originally saw the winner, and he looked confused, and then he showed Faye Dunaway, I was kind of like, what's going on? Yeah. Is this some sort of weird Jimmy Kimmel prank or something? And you know, then he proceeded to announce La La Land. Yeah. And I was like, well, I don't think they deserve to win, but and then they say no, it's not. Yeah. In the most awkward and weird way.
I felt bad for the directors of La La Land. I mean, they were already so excited that they won Best Picture, and they were in the middle of their speech, and then they get cut off and told that it's Moonlight who won Best Picture.
Yeah, there's a lot of feelings that I had. The initial thing was like, how did this happen again? We had this with Steve Harvey and him mixing up the
Miss Universe,
Miss Universe or Miss America, whatever. The Miss Person pageant, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, when they showed what the announcement paper looked like, it was just badly designed. Yeah. So how did this happen? And it looked like they got the wrong envelope. Yeah. They got the envelope for Emma Stone winning Best Actress. Yeah.
But then Emma Stone said, you know, I had the envelope with me the whole time, so I don't know how it got over there. So there's really that created a lot of controversy, because there really is no answer for it.
Yeah, and my initial response was, this is just fake. It's fabricated just to draw attention, because I do know Oscars are 3 hours long, and, you know, they're not the most interesting thing to watch. They're not the Grammys. So
and they need something to talk about the next day.
Yeah. Right. I thought that's probably what it was, but
yeah. Well, I mean, if that's what it was and it was planned, I think it was in very bad taste.
It was,
because I can only imagine the feeling of being given such a prestigious award and then all of a sudden getting it ripped out of my hands. You know, yeah. I think that the directors of La La Land handled it very well. You know,
I was really impressed by it.
They graciously passed it on to its rightful owners, and they were like, you know what, Moonlight is the winner, and that's the reality of it. Yeah. Right. I still feel bad for them, because
they could always sell the ones that they did win. They feel that bitter, you know.
Well, actually, winners are not legally allowed to sell their Oscars unless they first offer it back to the Academy for, how much do you think?
$1,000. At least 1,000. Because I'm sure it's not real gold, but it has to be like silver or bronze.
Well, believe it or not, they're supposed to offer it to the Academy for $1.
Why?
It's just some legal thing that they came up with somewhere in time. I think it was like during
1929?
I know. I think it was like during the 50s or something, like 1959 or something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, Oscars are worth a lot of money. But I guess to prevent the actors from selling it off and making more money off of them, they kind of make them sign this paper.
What if your career dies and you are gonna star and you're like, man, I gotta sell my Oscar so I can. That's really messed up.
Yeah, well then maybe just don't sign the paper. There was a case, I'm sure there's more, where Orson Welles, who won an Oscar for Citizen Kane, he was already dead by this point, so his Oscar went on to his heirs.
Yeah, his estate. Yeah.
Yeah. And because he did not sign the agreement, his heirs were able to sell the Oscar for $860,000.
What year was this? Because I'm like, after inflation, that's got to be like $1 million at least.
Well, I think they sold it in like somewhere around like the 2000s. So it was probably like 2002, 2001. But yeah, $860,000 for.
But that's like a really
Orson
special
Welles' Oscar.
That's the Rosebud Oscar, you know.
Yeah. And Citizen Kane is a great movie. Yeah, it's one of those classics.
Yeah, it's one of the ones that you just kind of have to acknowledge it did things for the media.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have Moonlight if Citizen Kane didn't exist.
Yeah. So, what did you think of this year's Oscars? Did you like them? Did you not like them? Did you fall asleep? Somewhere in between? Let us know in the comments below.
So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay up to date on our videos and content. You can follow us on Twitter at TheRant20 and follow us on Facebook at The Rant Entertainment.